Z.
And me.
Childsy Wildsy. He won't say it. I'll say it for him. Okay, this is the stages of the writing process. So by this time, you probably have already begun pre-writing or brainstorming. This is when you're planning what you're going to write, and then writing or drafting is what we'll be doing next. We're going to revise. We're going to edit. People always get those two mixed up, so we'll talk about those. And then we are going to publish, not the fancy style, just the school style.
Woohoo! We hit print.
And we turn it in.
Alright, stage one is pre-writing. This is known as the brainstorming stage. So this is before you're actually putting stuff on paper. You're just coming up with ideas to go ahead and get started. So you might be writing ideas on paper, but you're not typing the paper yet. You find your inspiration, figure out what you're writing about, determine the most effective way for you to gather ideas, outline, make a graphic organizer, do note cards or other. This is the time to research the topic in depth. If you can't find enough stuff, you need to go ahead and start the process over and try to come up with a new idea. Alright? Okay, with pre-writing, we determine your purpose for writing, determine your audience, and we consider the different topics, but we are pinpointing one. Okay, so we take it from a broad to a specific topic, and then we focus in.
And sometimes you lay on your laptop and hope that a topic comes to you through osmosis or something like that.
And I believe the yoga pose the cat is doing is very similar to the supine cow, or it's like a laying down cow. I don't know. It's weird.
Alright, so we're going to use a metaphor or an analogy to compare the stages of the writing process to what it would be like to create a pencil holder. So this is the pre-writing stage. Mr. Childs and I are going to be coming up with some different ideas for a grand pencil holder. So when you're writing a paper, the first idea that you come up with is not always the best. Case in point, Mr. Childs and I both came up with some really boring pencil holders. So never be afraid to scrap those ideas and start over.
Oh, man.
Alright, so this is round 3 of our brainstorming stage. So we've officially come up with 3 different ideas for pencil holders now. I've got a mom doing a mom's embrace, holding the pencils in her arms like a baby, and Mr. Childs has a car. Okay? So now that we've come up with 3 ideas, we're going to decide which of those ideas we want to go with for our essay or pencil holder, or if we want to scrap all 3 of those and maybe choose a 4th option. So I think I'm just going to go with this one because to me this one is the most creative and it can hold quite a few pencils. What are you going to do, Mr. Childs?
I think I'm going to revise mine.
Oh yeah, we have to revise. But are you going with this car?
Yeah, I need to fix my wheels, I think.
Yeah, so if you look closely at these, I don't know if you can bring the majigger over here. We got some cracks in the wheels. We've also got some other issues that we can deal with on both of these. So if these were our essay, now would be the time when we would be starting to revise our ideas, okay? So let's say we've already done our pre-writing and we've drafted our first one because we both decided we're going to go with this. Now we're going to go into the revision stage, which we're changing ideas and organization. Alright, so after you are finished with your pre-writing, then you start what is called stage 2, the drafting stage. This is why you call your first copy of your paper the rough draft, because you're just getting your ideas down on paper. You're not going for perfection yet, but it's the stage where you write or type the first copy of your paper. So when you're drafting, you're either handwriting or you're typing. Sometimes you handwrite it and then you type it, and it's still the rough draft stage. Okay, then stage 3 is called revising. This is the stage that everybody likes to skip because it is the most work. It's a lot more work than editing. But revising is extremely important to the ideas and organization of your paper. So you want to take some time to step away from your paper before you revise it. so that you can look at your paper again through new eyes. And this is the stage where you can make changes to the content of your essay. And so this is important because when you're looking at it through new eyes, you're able to see things that you have previously missed. So first, you might decide to add information if you're revising. Is there any other information that the reader needs to know? Also, you might rearrange the information presented in the most logical order. Maybe you have a fact from research in your second body paragraph that would actually fit better in your first body paragraph. Or maybe you decide that your first body paragraph is actually your weakest argument, in which case you would need to move that first body paragraph to the middle of the essay, because the middle is usually the most forgettable. You might also, when you're revising, remove information. So think about, are there any unnecessary or off-topic details? If so, just take those out. Maybe you don't need them at all, or maybe you can replace them with more appropriate research. And finally, you could replace information. So could you change anything to make your idea stronger? Like I just said, if so, replace it.
So if you're typing this all in one night, it's really hard to get the revising process down because you don't have those fresh eyes. So take some time and write your paper over a couple days.
So pretty much, this could be like the key lesson from this video is your enemy when you are writing is procrastination. Procrastination must die.
Alright, so we just finished revising, and it looks like I might need to do a little bit more because one of my arms just broke. But what I did was I changed the headpiece on the mom, because I felt like this resembled more of like a halo than the other one, because moms are, you know, angels. And then I made the arms like this because I thought it would be able to hold more pencils, and it kind of represents like the mom having two babies instead of one. But it doesn't look sturdy, so I'll have to fix that when I go back and edit my pencil holder.
And I went through and tried to fix my front end, and I changed my wheels to more wheel shape than balls. So, and then I have to revise it now because Miss Cruz just ruined my masterpiece.
I don't think it was very sturdy.
Alright, stage 4, editing. This is the stage where you proofread your essay, get feedback from other people, check for conventional errors like the perfect wording, check for misspellings, capitalization errors, punctuation errors, complete sentences. Do your subjects and verbs agree? Have you used any words on the do not use list? Are there any first or second person pronouns, etc.? So basically you're checking for all the simple mistakes that you may have made. One thing I like to do is read it out loud to yourself, or have somebody read it out loud to you, word for word, without making any mental corrections. That's one of the easiest ways to have a lot of these jump out at you.
And you guys have had so many lessons on grammar and mechanics throughout the years, and this is why we really tell you to internalize those lessons, is because whenever you're writing a paper for any class, whether it's English or science or history or whatever, High School 101, we expect you to be putting commas in the right spots and to be spelling words correctly. So we're not going to tell you a list of 100 things that you need to fix, and we're not going to reteach all the lessons that we've ever done before. You just need to take those grammar lessons seriously and then apply those skills to your writing. So if you feel like you've got no clue where to start, you can review the grammar videos from last semester, and you can also have somebody who's really good at grammar and mechanics help you proofread.
Like Miss Cruz, but she doesn't work for you guys. It's all good.
Alright, so after we revised initially, we both decided that we needed to do a little bit more revising, and I ended up changing the organization and ideas of mine by adding some hair on the top, and also I made like a wrap, or a sling, like moms wear the slings to carry their babies because it was more sturdy. And what did you do, Mr. Childs, to revise?
I went through, my wheels still need a little bit of work because I haven't had enough time to revise them fully. But I also added some bumpers and then a kind of a rack on top.
And this part, what you see in orange on Mr. Childs and what you see in green on mine, that would be the editing stage. So we traded Play-Doh with one another, and neither of us really had any extra.
And a lot of people don't like editing for the same reason, because they feel like it's extra work and they don't want to have to change something that they already like the way it is. But you can tell that we forced ourselves to give up a little bit of Play-Doh from our original design and traded, and now both of our pieces look a little bit better than they did before. Now, if we really wanted to get some structurally sound, super creative, attractive looking pencil holders, we would need to go through this process of revising and editing multiple times before finalizing. And this, you can see, there's still issues with both of them after only one round of revising and editing. It's the same way with your essay. You have to revise and edit, revise and edit, revise and edit, and have other people look at it too to give you suggestions. So after you're done revising and editing for the final time, then you publish. So what Mr. Childs and I could do now is we could walk around the little desk and admire our work. Okay, so then stage 5 is the last one, and this is called publishing, which if you're actually going to publish a manuscript, it takes a couple years to do that, and it's a really serious process. Many of you who go on to get graduate or doctoral degrees will have to publish information. But for our purposes, publishing is a stage where you perfect the visual appearance of your essay. So think about that presentation trait of writing. You look to see, is your MLA formatting correct? If not, it's very likely that you'll be plagiarizing and get a 0 for the paper. Think about when you're publishing, does your essay look professional? Is it typed in black font? There shouldn't be anything handwritten on the essay at all. If you forgot to put something in, don't go in and handwrite it. Don't do editing in ink or pencil. Is the printing janky? In other words, if you have issues with your printer at home, or if the printer in the library is messed up, you need to plan ahead so that you have a backup option for how to get a copy of your essay that looks acceptable. So we're actually going to have you guys do two things. Excuse me, I almost choked. Number one, you're going to bring a printed copy of your essay to class on the due date. Number two, you are going to share your document with us on Google Docs, which we'll explain that all to you later. But you have to do both of those things to publish. And then think about, have you written in a header or made changes in pen or pencil? That's a big no-no, like I already said. And so now that we have stressed you out, you can sit in your little recliner like the pug, and we will ask you, and how do you feel about that? But soft, what light from yonder window breaks? 'Tis the east, and Juliet is the sun.